There we are. How is everybody? Good to see you. Sorry, this is the first time we're being introduced to one another is online, but with the football game happening tonight, there's no way any of you really want to be on campus. And those of you that are in the classroom right now probably can already tell how busy it is up there. So trying to park, trying to just make your way off of campus tonight too is going to be a nightmare. So that's why we're doing it this way. But I'm stoked. Today should be a fairly straightforward class, I would imagine. Nothing too insane. We're going to go over the syllabus and then talk about assignments and kind of expectations for the course. And then if time permits, we may jump into a little bit of Maya, but we'll see where we get to. So I do have you guys pulled up right here so I can see everybody. Let me know in the chat if everything's working okay. It says there's only 11 of you in here. I think there's more of you in the class, so hopefully everybody is in here. Let's see. I'm just checking the people. There should be more than 13 of you, so either some people just didn't get the notification that we were streaming tonight, or some of you are watching from multiple, I don't know, maybe they have it pulled up in the classroom, I don't know, but there's way more than 13 of you, so so hopefully everyone either jumps in or gets this after the fact. The nice thing is this is going up on YouTube, so if you do miss any of it or you want to rewatch something, then every time we stream, which may be a handful of times during the semester, I don't know, we'll see. I like to keep it a little bit flexible there. Most of the time we'll be in the classroom though. Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, there's way more than 12 of you, so. But that's okay. Does the stream look okay? Can you guys hear me okay? Does everything sound good? Everything good? Let's pull up this really quick. Cool. Okay. So, for those of you that don't know, this is 3600, right? We are in EAE 3600. So, that means you are in a advanced, I guess they just call it 3D modeling, but this is the second course in your 3D modeling journey through EAE. You should have taken 2600 or 1050. I think now they're requiring both before you take this class. So, yeah. But with that being said, we're just going to keep building on the fundamentals that you already know. So this class is broken up into two really big assignments. Okay. But let's talk about that in a second. Let's get through some more syllabus stuff here. Okay. Just got back from the class. A lot of people indeed. Oh, hopefully not a ton of people showed up to the room, but I mean, I tried to put the announcement on the Discord that we were streaming tonight. So, let's see here. Normally, obviously the class will be held in the library, but like I said, because of the football stuff going on tonight, we're doing it this way. but normally we'll be in 1160 from 6 to 9. Okay. Let me jump to my normal scene here so you guys can see what's going on. Okay, cool. So my contact info, I have my Gmail here in the canvas. Hey, good to see people jumping in here. Contact info, you can email this Gmail account. I try to do my best to check that every couple days. But the main form of communication in the class is going to be through our Discord channel. Okay. I would ask, since we are using Discord, to just try to, oh no, I'm sorry guys. I would ask that you try to keep that Discord page clean, keep it professional, keep it for school, right? I do have like an off-topic channel if you guys want to link up and play video games or something with each other, that's fine. But let's keep it cool, keep it nice and friendly in there, and just use it as a tool to communicate about class. Okay. In the past, some other teachers have had some incidents with Discord, and students not using it appropriately. I've never had that problem, but I just want to put it out there that I want you guys to use it. I want you guys to communicate, but let's keep it professional in there. Okay. So I'm sorry. Hopefully it's not me that's buffering. Let's see. I should be doing okay. Let's see. It could be on my end. Hopefully it's not. We should be golden over here. Let's see. Yeah, I should be good over here. I'm getting pretty good speeds on stuff. Is it the school internet, or are all of you experiencing that, or does it look okay for some of you and some people it's rough? Yeah, the Canvas didn't have anything about the move to online, but the Canvas page did have the Discord link. But if it's, I'm wondering, let me see here. That's interesting. Yeah, it's not looking good, is it? Let's see. Let's see here. I'm not sure. why it's doing this. Yeah, I'll make sure I put them both in Canvas and Discord. I'm just trying to see if I can figure out why this is struggling so hard. It says it's good right now. Your stream quality is good right now. Let's see. Is it? I don't know. Okay, well, we'll just try to get through this. I do have stuff on my channel that I can post and have you guys watch. But yeah, that's annoying. Okay, so the class is going to consist of 2 primary projects. Okay, so in here we're going to have the in-class model. So together we're going to model from start to finish a human character, just a base human model, right? No clothing, no accessories. We'll just model a base human model. Okay, and then outside of class, while you're learning how to model a character, you are going to be modeling a while you're learning how to model a human in class, you'll be doing a class or an out of class model that is a character. And we'll talk about that in the next week or so, what that character is actually going to be. Because you have some options there, and we do have some things that we could do that are fun with that to make it a little more interesting. The buffer on the stream, buffer health on the stream is pretty bad. Looks like the buffer empties about every 10 seconds. Since it's all caught up. How do I fix that? Do I put like a stream delay or something? Your ISP throttling upload. Let's see. Wonder if this one would be better. Because the other one uses Wi-Fi. It's like using my phone. I don't know. I'm a little annoyed that it's having such bad problems right now. That seems better. Did that fix it? Did that fix it? Gosh. That's so annoying. Okay. That looks better now. I'm watching the stream now. Looks way better now. Okay. Cool. We'll just use this camera then. Yep, it was because I was using my phone. So I have an app that uses my phone as a webcam, which just looks a little bit better than this one, but I have two webcams, so I can use this one. Cool. Okay. For those of you asking about the Discord thing, I haven't been told not to use it, but so I don't know. That's a good question. I'm willing to figure it out. For those of you that are nervous or worried about it, I'm willing to look into it for you. If you don't feel comfortable using it, then we can chat. I haven't had any students that were like, I don't want to use this thing, but let's see here. Now my screen got a little messed up. There we go. Sorry, my screen looked like it was being weird. Yeah, that's my fault. I put it on the Discord and forgot to put it on the Canvas page, so that's totally my fault. Luckily, this is going back up on the going on YouTube. Granted, the first little bit has been kind of crappy because of the weird buffering issue. Luckily, it looks like we fixed it now. So cool. What's up, JD? Thanks. So yeah, if you have issues with Discord, let me know. I don't think anybody does, but if you do, please let me know, and we can find a different solution. But in the past, it's been pretty good for me, and nobody has been like, you cannot use that, at least from my department. They've said that they've had some issues, and some teachers have stopped using it, but they haven't exclusively told me, no, you cannot use it. So if they do, then I'll shut it down. But until then, we'll keep rolling with it. But I'll be better at putting the announcements in both Discord and on Canvas. So other questions, keep them coming. That's good stuff. So let's chat here. We do have two different assignments in the class, right? We'll have our in-class model, right, that we talked about, and then the out-of-class model, which I think we can do some fun things with. In the past, we've done mashup of video games. So I think one semester we did Metroid and Donkey Kong, and you had to make a character that was a mashup of those two video games, which is pretty fun. So I'm happy to do something like that. We can make it interesting. We've done Overwatch characters in the past before too, which seems kind of outdated now at this point. Like so many other games have launched. People do love that art style, but we can do a ton of different things with it. So we'll talk about it in the next couple weeks. But you'll be working on that assignment with, along with the in-class assignment that we're doing. Man, I'm happy that this is looking way better now. So. Yeah, it's looking a lot better now. Okay. So. The other assignments in the class all kind of deal around those two main assignments, right? So we do have a couple individual assignments that you'll end up doing where you're setting up different things in Maya. We do have an assignment that's due this coming week, but it's pretty simple, and I'll talk about what I want to see from it. Okay. So you will have some homework over the next week, but nothing too crazy. Okay. And then every week we will have a weekly upload, where you are going to upload what you've done from that week. Okay. So just what you've done as you followed along in class, where you're at. And it's usually at the end of the day, right? It's not at the end of the class. It gives you a couple hours to catch up. Sometimes you miss something. Sometimes you want to watch something back in the stream. So it gives you a couple hours to watch that back and then submit where you're at for the week. And so they're just weekly submittals of where we're at with the in-class model every single week. It's a way to keep you honest, a way to keep you on track. Okay. So those will be part of the class every week as well. And then outside of that, we don't have a final, like I don't have quizzes or anything in here because we're project based. So some people do like to hear that. For those of you that don't know, Maya is free through the school, which you should have learned in 1050 and then in 2600 as well. So if you don't know that by now, Maya is free. If you go to the syllabus page here, I think I do have... I thought I had it. If I don't have a link to it, I can get you a link to where to download Maya or to renew your license, because maybe you do need to renew it through the Autodesk Education software. So, with that being said, I think that's it for right now. If you do have, if you need me for student services or anything like that, if you need me to fill out any paperwork for you for the disability services, let me know. I do want to say a couple things here. One is I'm pretty relaxed about turning stuff in. As long as you turn something in on time, I'm always good with you resubmitting. So if you turn in a weekly assignment and you don't get a good grade on it and you want to resubmit that week, you can chat with me and message me, and I'll usually give you a chance to resubmit that stuff. Pretty lenient there. If you took 1050 from me, it's kind of it's a similar situation, right? If you did take 1050 from me, if you did take 1050 from me, put a 1 in the chat. I'm curious to see how many of you took 1050 from me. Throw a 1 in the chat if you did take or have taken a class from me in the past. I'm curious. So at least one of you didn't hate me enough to not take a class from me, or you didn't have another option. So cool. Awesome. Good to see some familiar faces. Cool. Okay. So similar stuff to those of you that were in 1050 can probably attest to the fact that I'm pretty cool about turning stuff in, giving extensions on things. I want you to get the most out of the class, and I want you to get an opportunity to put your best foot forward and turn in your best work. So I do a good job of giving you a chance to turn in your best stuff. Okay. If you need more time, please ask me. The one thing I don't want you to do is cheat, especially in this class, because in this class, if you fall behind and you start trying to cheat, you're just only going to compound the problem, right? Because we start from a finger, then we move on to modeling a hand, then we move on to modeling a body, legs, the rest of the arms, then a face. Like if you fall behind on the finger and you start cheating on the hand, then the rest of the body is not going to turn out well, right? So if you need a little bit more time to work, that's fine. What I don't want you to do is cheat. Okay. Especially on the out of class project too. Like I've seen a lot of students struggle there and end up relying on cheating when they could have just asked for help. So please don't do that. I will do everything I can to help and make sure you guys have the tools that you need and the stuff that you need from me. Okay. So let's not cheat. Okay. I'm taking 3660, and would it be all right if I make the out-of-class model for an asset I might require for that class instead? Potentially, Mazer. Let's chat about it, okay? When we're in person next week, we can chat about it after class or before class, okay? Potentially. I haven't totally decided what I want to do for that out-of-class model yet, but once I do, we can dive a little bit more into that, okay? Okay, so assignments, nothing more there. Similar stuff to 1050 if you've taken it from me, okay? I do want to... I'm trying to think. I don't want to have to do a weekly attendance question. I've kind of fallen out of love with doing that. I think you guys get the most if you just show up, right? And I shouldn't have to like incentivize you to show up, if that makes sense. The weekly assignments will kind of cover that. But anyways, I think, yeah, I don't want to have to do that. Okay. So the other thing too is in here, those 2 final assignments are worth the majority of your grade. So work hard on those. Make sure you're staying caught up on those. They are worth a big chunk of your grade. Okay. And there is, excuse me, there is a rubric you can check out for those if you want. So you can check where those points are coming from. Okay. And we'll chat about how this actually works as we're modeling, right? We'll talk about modeling in quads. You know, having a few tries is fine, but no n-gons, right? So we'll chat about those things. Okay. Any questions as far as the syllabus goes? Throw them in the chat if you have a question for me. For those of you that have never taken a class from me before, just to give you a little bit of background on myself, I'm Chase, by the way, now that we've been sitting here for 45 minutes, but I'm Chase. I went through EAE as an undergrad student, did my undergrad as a film and media arts student with EAE emphasis, and graduated with that in 2017. So it's been a few years now. And then I decided I needed some more experience and some more time. And so I went through the master's program in the art track in 2017 and started teaching right as I started grad school as well. So I've been teaching for 5 years now, almost 6 years at this point. Actually, it would be 6 years this fall. And then I graduated with my master's degree in 2019. So the cool thing is that I like to pat myself a little bit on the back as I've taken these classes. And so I kind of know where you're at and know the shoes you're in. And I've sat in the seat you're sitting in, and I understand wholeheartedly the stress level and the anxiety level that comes with taking these courses sometimes. But I've done it. I've been there, been in these courses. So I try to adjust and change them with the things that I wanted to see changed when I was a student. And so I try to emulate that and make sure that I do the best I can for you guys. So any questions with 3600 or questions about me in general? I have 2 little kids. Who taught me this class? Mark Langeveld. Von Langeveld. Sorry. Mark. I don't say his last name a whole lot, but Mark. Yeah. And then I took, I'm trying to think. I took a lot of my classes from Ryan Bound. A lot of my advanced 3D modeling courses and texturing courses I took from him. So, good question. Any other questions? If we don't have any other questions, we can move on a little bit to the assignment for this week. Oh, 3660. Is that asset pipeline? Is 3660 asset pipeline? The one thing I do want to know, put a 1 again, do this again. Put a 1 in the chat if you've never used Maya before. I'm hoping to see very few ones. 6600 and 3600 are the same class. Yes. Yep. It's the same class. The 6600 kids will just get graded a little bit differently because you are grad students, I think, taking this class. Right? Interactive machinima. Okay, cool. That's a newer class that they didn't have when I was... We had machinima, but it was machinima for film. It was a different class. So a lot of the classes have changed now, especially now that we are the division of games and you actually have the games major. Mine was not that when I graduated. But that's cool. So I'm not seeing any ones in the chat. So everyone in here has used Maya, correct? If you haven't used Maya, let me know now, because I want to know whether or not I need to do like an intro for people or if we can just jump right in. We can do a little bit of a refresher for sure, but I don't know if I want, if I don't need to, I don't want to have to go over the whole interface for everybody again. Technically, we shouldn't have to if this is the third time you've been in there, but I just want to make sure. So again, put a 1 in there if you've never used Maya before. Yeah, machinima has been around, but I don't think it's always been called 3660. It was called something different. It was machinima. It wasn't called interactive machinima. It was still a machinima class, and a different teacher taught my machinima class. Okay, cool. So I'm not seeing any 1s, which is good. So what I do want to do is for this week, I do have an assignment for y'all. And I do have the Pinterest board assignment for this week coming up. Okay. And it's pretty straightforward. What I want you to do over the next week, because we are going to be modeling in quads, I want you to jump onto Pinterest, create a Pinterest account. I want you to look up some things here. I want you to look up some images of basic human anatomy. So muscle structure, skeleton structure, those types of things, right? And then I also want you to look up some images of quad polygon topology. So I want you to find some images of humans or objects in quad polygon topology, okay? And we're in Google, but that's okay. So I want you to find some images of quad polygon topology. And I just want you to kind of study that a little bit, right? And understand how that works. From a 10,000 foot view, right? Because, you know, you have done a little bit of it up till this point with the classes you've taken, but I just want you to kind of take a look at some different models that have quad polygon topology on them. Okay. I want you to fill each of your boards with some appropriate pins, right? And then submit the URL to your Pinterest page. Okay. And that's it. It's just getting in your brain some ideas of, you know, human anatomy, general human anatomy, right? Because we're going to be modeling some muscle structures. We're modeling a full-on human in here, okay? So, and then, you know, that quad polygon topology that will help you kind of get your brain wrapped around what that looks like, right? And we're going to go through it all together, but just like I said, I want to get you in the right mindset, okay? So a pretty simple assignment, pretty easy, 20 points. Just drop that URL in there when you're done. Okay. Any questions as far as the Pinterest boards go? I feel like it's pretty straightforward, but just want to make sure people get the information they need. Okay. Not seeing anything come through, but I'm sure people will ask questions as this goes on. Okay, so that's your assignment for this week. So do next week that Pinterest board's due. Okay. And then as far as Maya goes for this week, I would like to jump in and model, at least start modeling the finger for our character. Okay. And it's pretty straightforward and it won't take us very long, but if we can bang out the finger, I would say 5 to 10 per subject. That seems reasonable, right? I didn't put a number in here, but just fill your board up, right? Don't do one image per. Yeah, I'd say 5 to 10 images is pretty reasonable. Like, I wouldn't put 40 in there if you don't need to. If you want to, go for it and you're having fun. But yeah, I'd say 5 to 10 is pretty good. Okay. I'm going to open up Maya here, but Maya's going to make me sign out and sign back in. So, because I was on my work account. So let's sign out and sign back in. Yes, I already have a license. Let's switch users here. While we're getting this set up, I would like to know what your favorite video game of all time is in the chat. And then I'll give you an opportunity to guess what mine is. And I have a hint based off of some I'll give you some hints because it changes. I have a top 3 favorite game, and depending on the day when you ask me, it changes. Kingsfield 4. No, it's due next week, Darina. Kingsfield 4. Yeah, throw your favorite games in the chat. I want to hear it. Kid Icarus Uprising. Okay, that's a good one. Munificent may have taken a class from me before. FF14. Okay, cool. Disco Elysium. That's a good game. Baldur's Gate 3. Witcher 3, God of War. PMD. I don't know that game. PMD. Don't know that one. Keep throwing them in there. Diablo 3. Okay, sick. Dark Souls. Okay. Yep. It was one of the attendance questions. That's funny. I do have a big spot in my heart for the Dark Souls series. Especially Dark Souls 1. Because I'm a huge fan of Berserk. And Dark Souls is super heavily inspired by that. So I do love Dark Souls. I'm playing Armored Core right now. And holy crap, is it good. Armored Core and Final Fantasy 16 are the 2 games I'm playing right now at the moment. Armored Core is so good. It's super hard, but I'm really enjoying it. Final Fantasy 10, that's a good one. Your favorite series varies by year. That's pretty funny. My favorite game varies by day. I mean, there's a couple, like I said, there's a couple that kind of float in between there. Okay, so my favorite games, I'll give you the three that kind of I bounce in between. Okay. And Dark Souls would be in my top 10 games of all time for sure. I don't know if it breaks the top 5, but it's definitely in top 10 of all time. But the top 3 games, my top three favorite games of all time are Mega Man 2 on the NES, Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo, and Final Fantasy 7 on the PlayStation 1, right? So it varies every day, and every time people ask me what's your favorite game, I kind of lean on one of those. I would say right now my heart's with Final Fantasy 7 with the stuff that's popping up for the remake part 2 that's coming out. So I'm pretty hyped on Final Fantasy 7. That one has my heart constantly, but I do love Mega Man 2 and I love Chrono Trigger. Those 3 games are top 3 for me, and they just kind of interchange. I am okay. Your TA is here. I'm just a horrible human and forgot to invite them to the Canvas page. Let me get them invited. Okay, cool. You're also still on Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Oh, yes. Tears of the Kingdom's so good. If you look up there, like right here, that's all my Tears of the Kingdom stuff. I have the Switch. I have the collectors. I went crazy when Tears of the Kingdom came out. I am going to actually... I've been sitting all day, so I'm going to stand up for a second here. I have been sitting all day long, and my back is starting to yell at me a little bit, so we are going to stand up for a minute here. And we'll finish out like this. Okay. So, we are going to jump in here to Maya for a minute. And we are going to model a finger, okay? So this is where we'll start modeling our human, okay? And we're jumping right in, which is totally fine. The class is supposed to be a 3-hour-long class. We will not hit 3 hours tonight. We will try our best to do that while we're in class normally, but when we're streaming here, I'm not getting interrupted. I'm not having to fix people's Maya problems. So we're just going to jump in right now and do as much as we can here. Okay. We'll model some fingers. We'll do a little bit of an overview. I'll do my best to tell you guys which hotkeys and things I'm pressing, but we're going to start a new file here. Okay. I'm also going to shrink my face a little bit and get it out of the way. Try to get myself as much out of the way as possible so I'm not covering up things. Okay. Quick overview again for those of you that need it really fast. Movement keys inside of Maya. Alt and left click. Yes, you will. That's the nice thing, is these go up on YouTube, so you'll have access to the stream after the fact too. Okay. Yep, they stay on my YouTube channel. Okay. Yeah, if you need to rewatch it, that's fine. And then for this week, because we do have we don't have a week for this week. So week 2 is where we'll start doing your uploads for the class. Okay. But let's jump in. Okay. So remember that Alt and left click is your rotate. Obviously, scroll wheel is going to zoom. Alt and middle mouse button is going to pan. Okay. Turn my music down a little bit. And I'm going to skip this because sometimes the words distract me a little bit here. Okay, cool. So first step here is pretty straightforward. We are going to drop in a primitive cube under the poly modeling tab right here. Just going to drop in this cube. Nice, lovely cube. And I'm going to scale this up just so it's easier for y'all to see on the screen. And the first step here is hitting R on the keyboard to scale. We're going to scale it in our Z axis here, okay? Because we need to make a long finger, right? The nice thing is you have a reference right here to look at. So take a look at your finger. Everyone's is going to look a little bit different. But I'm just going to do my best to model a fairly standard finger. If you are modeling you have the option in here. I think I'm going to do a male character this time around. But if you would like to do a female character or a female human, we'll get into that a little bit later. I do have two different references you can follow along with. The female ends up looking just a little bit different, and you have a couple extra steps to go through. But I have two different references you can follow along with. They're both very superhero comic booky looking characters, but they do a good job of showing off like muscle groups and things, which I do want to get into modeling some of those. So where we go from here is we need to segment this cube off into a couple different segments, right? Our finger bends in 3 places. So I'm going to segment off this rectangle into a couple different segments here. So I'm going to do that with my multi-cut tool, which if you go to your modeling toolkit over on the right hand side of the screen right here, and you click multi-cut, that tool will open up, and you hold control, and that allows you to cut an edge loop through your object, right? So I'm going to cut one and then cut again, right? I'm just kind of segmenting off this finger into a couple different sections, right? Each one of the sections on your finger is not the same length, so that's why they are not equidistant from each other here. Then the next step, right, is to cut in some extra loops on each side of this main loop for animation purposes, right? When a finger bends, if you just have one edge loop in your object, when you go to bend something in 3D, I'll give you an example here. If I go to bend this object and I bend it from the midpoint here with no additional edge loops, you'll see that it starts to break right here and starts to fold in on itself because there's no extra geometry there, right? However, if we do the same thing and go here, this is supposed to be Nintendo Lo-Fi, and this is not Nintendo Lo-Fi. Let's do something else here. Do some One Piece Lo-Fi. Okay. So, same thing here, okay? Now that I have these extra edge loops in here, now if I go to bend this same object from the same location, now it doesn't break, right? Because I have that extra geometry in there. Now, if I were to crank on it super hard, then it would break. But there's also some other things we can do with the softening of objects to help with that. But those extra edge loops in there provide stability for that joint when things start to bend, right? So On each side of those segmented sections that we just cut, I'm going to cut one more edge loop on each side of that, right? Then I'm going to cut my object down the middle in the z-axis, right? So I'm just adding a 4-plex or, you know, an edge loop down the middle in the y-axis and in the z-axis, right? Or the x-axis in this direction, right? Just to kind of segment it off in this way, because we need to round this bad boy off, right? Fingers are not square. So we're going to try to make this look a little more round here. So I'm going to do my best to take this object from the front view. Remember, you can tap space bar to go to your different views here. So if I go to the front, I'm going to marquee and hold shift to grab all of the vertices in a row right there. And then from the front, I'm just going to scale this in a little bit. Okay. So we're just going to do our best to scale those in, try to round this off, right? We're making a finger, okay? And then I'm going to pull down just a little bit here because fingers aren't perfectly round. So we'll just get a little bit of distance there, okay? Maybe, you know, you could also flatten it if you wanted to. You want to say, okay, maybe that finger's, you know, a little more flat there instead. I'd be fine with that too, right? Either way, okay? So from here, we do need to do a little bit more modeling. I'm going to go back through here on each one of these edge loops and just kind of refine them, straighten them back out. So if I double click on them, hit R to scale, and pull that yellow box back towards the center, it just straightens out these edge loops. Okay. And then I'm going to go back into vertex mode, and I'm going to kind of shape this a little bit here. I'm going to pull these ridges up, and I'm also going to scale up my finger here a little bit. So I'm going to take maybe from the tip of the finger here, I'm going to hit B, which is soft select, which is something we may or may have not used in previous courses. But what B does is it allows me to change how much or how little everything around my selection is affected, right? So you see this red to yellow gradient if I zoom in here. And now if I scale up, it kind of scales it in, you know, it scales it in a way where it kind of helps affect the shape of the tip of the finger as well. So I can turn down how much that affects it, and I can kind of scale this up a little bit and get the shape of my finger there, right? So that's soft select. Then I'm going to try to shape out the tip of my finger, okay? So I need to pull out the vertice here, right? Because the tip of my finger is not flat like a cube. So I'm going to do what I can to shape this out a little bit here. Do my best to round this off just a little bit. And then I'm going to pull this up, right? Try to get that tip of that finger. And then we're going to pull it in. Just a little bit. Again, fingers aren't perfectly square, so we just want to make sure we've got what we need there. Okay, so now I have something that resembles sort of a finger. In object mode, if I hit 1 on the keyboard or 3 on the keyboard, you can kind of see what it looks like smoothed out, right? So the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take these vertices here on each side of the finger, or the crease on the finger. I'm just going to pull these in a little bit because I want these creases to provide more of an actual crease. When those objects or those vertices are closer to that center line, when you hit the smooth function, which we will be doing at the end of our project, hitting smooth, we're working to smooth with our characters. I want that to crease a little bit more. Awesome. There's your lovely TA. Okay, so if I hit 1 on the keyboard here, okay, we're back to our unsmooth version of our finger. I'm going to do something here and hit mesh display and hit harden edge on this object just because I want to see all the hard edges on this finger. Okay. So from here, there's a couple more things we need to do. One, we need to create a knuckle on this. We also need to create a fingernail. So with the end of the finger, when we scaled in those vertices, we kind of messed up the straight portion of the back of the finger here. The nice thing is we can take these faces in face mode and just delete them out. Okay, so I held shift to select those faces. I'm going to delete them. Okay, then I'm going to go to vertex mode, highlight over the back here, and again I'm just going to scale those flat because this finger is going to attach to a much larger hand, right? And we'll use that as we move forward. Okay, I am also going to put some loops in between each one of these fingers here just to give us a little bit more geometry to shape our finger with, right? So we can kind of create a nice shape, right? All right. So to create knuckles, okay, we have the knuckles on our back of our finger, right? This one, and then the one at the tip of the finger, okay? We're going to do some extrusions. So I'm going to go into face mode and select these 4 faces here because they're right over the crease of that finger. And I'm going to hit extrude 1 time. I'm going to hit R, and then I'm going to scale in, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 4 vertices here and scale these in, right? Because I want it to be round. Your knuckles round. I'm also going to take these 4 vertices on the exterior here and scale those in just a hair, okay? Then I'm going to take that same set of faces and I'm going to extrude, and I'm going to hit W, I'm going to pull up, and then I'm going to hit R again to scale, and I'm going to scale that in, okay? And again, if we need to, we could take this edge loop and scale that back out just to kind of see where that ends up. But now we have a nice looking knuckle on the back of that finger, right? We could also pull this edge up if needed, right? If you want it to be a little bit gradual, more gradual to that knuckle, right? So there's not such a harsh line there, okay? Default thickness is set to 20. If you go and double click your extrude tool right here, you can change it right here. You could just hit edit, and I think you could hit reset settings on it. So you just double click your extrude tool, and then your extrude tool settings will pop up. So hopefully that helps fix that for you. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next knuckle here. So let's go to the tip of the finger. We're going to take this, same thing, extrude, scale that in, then go to vertex mode, grab these 4 vertices on the corners, scale these in, then grab the 4 corners here, scale these in. Then I'm going to take that same set of faces, hit extrude again, and pull that up, and then scale that back. Then I'm going to go to edge mode and just pull this up a little bit just to make that not so harsh. The other thing too is if I need to, I could take these 2 edges and kind of push them out to the edge a little bit, because that knuckle is not perfectly circle either, right? So I can kind of push that out a little bit. But now when I hit smooth, I've got kind of both those knuckles in there. This one might be a little too intense, so I could always pull this back a little bit. But I do want to have that geometry there. Excuse me. So I could push this down just a little bit. Okay. So now we have both those knuckles in there, which is great. That's what we want. I am going to take this opportunity to kind of continue shaping this finger out a little bit more. Just kind of rounding out the fleshy part of the fingers there. Just kind of giving it more of a real shape. Okay. And then the last piece is the fingernail, which shouldn't be too difficult. It's fairly straightforward. We can pull the tip of the finger out just a hair if we want, or you can push it back depending on what your finger looks like or the reference you're using. But this last piece here is pretty straightforward. We're going to take these two faces here. We're going to extrude. Okay. And then we're going to extrude again and rotate it back on itself. And that's all we do for that right there. Because when you hit 3 on the keyboard, it ends up really making it look like a nice indented fingernail, right? You could adjust the shape of this a little bit more if you want, right? You could bring this in. You could round off the nail more if you'd like, so that when you hit 3 on the keyboard, it creates more of a rounded fingernail. You could also extend the tip of your finger out a little bit if you want to make that look a little longer, a little bit longer fingernail, right? All depends on what your reference is. The other nice thing with this is if you really want to, you could extrude these two faces out from the tip of the finger and create, you could create more of a extended fingernail there. Okay. Something that's, a little more feminine, or if you have longer fingernails, whatever you like, right? So you can do that as well. And I don't care either way, whatever your heart desires. I don't care. I am going to keep the fingernail short just because I like the look of that. But if you like a little bit longer fingernail, go for it. Use it. Okay. So that is our finger in a nutshell. Okay. If we hit 3 on that, we have a finger that's pretty well modeled. There are some things we could do to adjust this a little bit more to help push this model, make it feel even better. I'm going to pull these down just a hair on the sides where that knuckle is. Same thing here. So, looks pretty good, right? Fairly well completed there. And then what we're going to do with that finger is I want you to hit Control D on your keyboard. You're going to copy it. What Control D is duplicates. You're going to duplicate one finger over to the other side and just keep this one off over here in the distance. And then I want you to duplicate 3 more. Okay. So that you have 4 fingers, and then we'll save that one off to the side. Okay. And then once you have this done, you are well on your way for being done for the week, which is great. Okay. So you've got your 4 fingers, and then you're going to save one off to the side. And then the last thing I want you to do before you completely exit out of the software is you're going to do an edit and a delete all by type history. What that does is it just reduces the chance of your model exploding the next time you open it back up because you've cleared out the model history. It's just a way to prevent problems from happening. Okay. And then you're going to save it out. So we'll save this scene as our finger. Or actually, I'm going to save it out as human _ 001. And I'll do 2023. Okay. And I'm going to save that to my desktop. And we'll save that out. And then you're done. Okay. And that's it for the week. I don't want to waste too much more of your time, but I would like to answer questions for those of you that do need questions answered. The nice thing is this is going up on YouTube. You can watch it back as many times as you'd like to get your finger modeled. Then next week, we'll keep moving on with the hand. Should be a good time. Luckily, we'll be in the lab next week, so you get to see my lovely face in person. No more football games on the campus, at least for right now, I don't think, that are on crazy Thursday nights. I don't think. But yeah. This is the recording for this class. Yeah, this live stream will be the recording, and it will go up on YouTube. So, okay. Anything that you guys need from me, throw it in the chat really quick. If not, I'm gonna let you all go. Okay, but I'll hang out here for a couple minutes and see if there's any more questions for me. We can jam out to this lovely One Piece lo-fi music. But I'm happy to answer any questions. Nope, not this week. You'll start submitting this to Canvas after next week. But you'll want to have this file when you come to class next week. So, the only thing you're submitting this week is going to be your Pinterest boards, okay? Good question though. Anything else? Yeah, I'm gonna watch the first episode tonight of the One Piece live action. Should be cool. I've heard it's okay. I'm a big One Piece fan, so. I'm not caught up, though. I have all the volumes of the manga on my shelf back here. I'm just not caught up, but I do love it. Any other questions? Looks like people are dropping off, so I think we should be good. Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry about the craziness at the beginning with the poor buffering and all that stuff. Luckily, I think I figured out the problem, which was the phone camera. So hopefully in the future, if we stream like this again, we shouldn't have any issues. I should have known this was the variable, but I wanted to try to make it look nice. Ended up looking way better with the cheaper camera. So no worries. I will see you all next week, okay? Stay safe. For those of you that are on campus, have a safe trip home, and I will see you next Thursday, okay? Have a good night, everybody. Thanks.